All right, chat. We are going to be reacting to Junko Furuta case. It's out of Japan from a while back. We're going to sit back, relax, and see what this is all about. Ladies and gentlemen, this week's murder mystery.
One of the most common suggestions to make a video about, and one of the most common questions on Q&As that I get, is what is the most horrific case I've ever heard of? It's a case that I'm sure a lot of you have heard of by now, but I'm not sure if you've ever heard about it in complete, gruesome detail.
No, I haven't. Ooh, I hope this doesn't make my stomach crawl.
This is the story of Junko Furuta,
Oh, it's
widely
Junko.
considered to be one of the worst crimes ever committed in human history. So for the love of God, please don't watch this if you're sensitive to extreme violence, especially of the sexual variety.
Oh, God.
Trust me.
It's already, look. It's already giving you, like, the heads up. Like, if you got a soft stomach, this ain't for you. If you ain't built like that, this ain't for you. If gruesome, heavily detailed things, this is not for you. So for whoever is on here and y'all are watching this along with me, I hope you guys have a tough stomach and that y'all can get through this, because from what I've heard, it's about to be gruesome. It's about to be gruesome. So here we go.
A woman who was born in Misato in the Saitama prefecture of Japan.
I know where
Her
Saitama
family
at.
consisted of a mother, father, an older brother, and a younger brother. She attended high school at a school in Saitama while working part-time at a plastic molding factory after school.
Damn!
She was
Wait,
saving
they ain't got child labor law? She was working at a factory, plastic factory, while she was in high school. Well, I guess when you was in high school, you was only what? You could have been only like, I don't know what, how old would you in high school? Like 16, 17, 18? I guess that's old enough for someone to work.
up for a big graduation trip she was planning. She was all set up to start working at an electronics store after she graduated.
Radio Shack. She was about to work at Radio Shack.
And well liked by her classmates.
Oh.
She had great grades and was hardly ever absent. She was active, attractive, and attracted a lot of attention, which made some people jealous.
Damn.
She didn't drink, didn't smoke, and definitely never touched any drugs. This made
So
her
she was
seem
an all-around
very
good
lame
girl.
and
That's what I've been looking for in my life. An all-around good girl. I don't know where to find them, but based off this story, it might not be in Japan.
eyes of the thugs around the school, the Yakuza wannabes. One of the boys in this group was named Hiroshi Miyano. He
Hiroshi
actually
Miyano.
developed a bit of a crush on her and wanted to get physical with her.
Physical?
He proposed this and she refused. Hiroshi was a pretty
When he
big
say
bully
physical, does that mean like he wanted to beat her up, or like physical because he liked her, he wanted to get some, he was trying to get some? They didn't really explain, so I just want to make sure that we get that clear.
in school, one of the only ones actually involved with the younger members of the Yakuza at the time. Usually, nobody dared defy him. He couldn't believe that Junko actually had the gall to turn him down.
Oh, he one of those. He one of those egotistical shitheads that be like, oh, I always get what I want. So therefore, if you not going to get what I want, this is probably not going to be going in the direction that I think it's going to go. It's not going to be a whole, we going to patty cake, and have fun. Because those kind of guys tend to be like very mentally damaged.
Hiroshi did not take this well at all.
He already look
couldn't
at
believe-
his old egghead looking like Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. You could tell that he probably was gotten picked when he was a little kid, and that's why he ended up going to the Yakuza, because he wanted to feel big and bad. Look how his little skinny eyes look like it got drew on like a sketch artist. Not a sketch artist, but you know, he looked like he was in the Peanut comics. You know what I mean? Like, never mind.
That anyone would ever reject him. He took it as a at all. He couldn't believe that anyone would ever reject him.
You is not
He took it
handsome.
as a complete and total insult. He got together with a few of his wannabe Yakuza buddies, and they all hatched a plan to get revenge on Junko.
Oh, that's
They would get
Junko.
another one of their friends to attack Junko, and then Hiroshi would come
These
to the
images, I wonder if it's actually from the real high school, or was this like just part of the documentary where they just pulled it from random other videos.
After he won a bit of her trust, they could take her wherever they wanted. On November 25th of 1988, Junko was riding her bike.
I was just turning 1. It was just after my 1st birthday. Now y'all know how old I am.
Home from her part-time job when an unknown boy attacked her and knocked her off of her bike.
Oh shit.
The boy who liked her, Hiroshi Miyano, was conveniently across the street while the whole thing happened. He came to Junko's aid and scared off the random boy.
He set it up.
offered to escort her home.
He set it up.
Everything seemed to be going as planned.
He set it up. He set up for them boys to knock her off her bike so he can be the hero. And now that she sees him as a hero, she's gonna have like that hero complex and come running to him and fall for him. Oh, not that I've ever thought about doing that, but that's still fucked up.
While Junko didn't actually trust him, it seemed better than the alternative of possibly being attacked again. She didn't have any idea that Hiroshi harbored any sort of hatred towards her. She wouldn't have imagined that he would be planning anything like this.
Like what?
Hiroshi took Junko into an abandoned warehouse and revealed his Yakuza connections to her. He then took his time raping her over and over.
Oh! There's some evil people in this world. I knew what he meant. I felt like I knew what he meant earlier in the doc where he said he wanted to get physical. So I figured it was his nice way of not getting flagged on YouTube and him saying that so he's not like flagged for saying sex or anything of that manner. But to turn around and lure her into a warehouse where you then proceeded to show off and then R-word her? Oh, there's a special place in hell for you.
In the hotel and over. Then he took her to a hotel.
Oh, now you want to be the gentleman? You first in the warehouse where it's dirty, full of different bugs, and probably been abandoned, and then you decide to take her to a hotel? Make that make sense.
He took her to a hotel. In the hotel, he called his friends, Joe Ogura and Yasushi Watanabe.
What? This man look like he got Down syndrome mixed with hills of eyes. And they don't want to even show the other guy face. He probably got cross-eyed. Oh, disgusting humans.
From then on, he and Joe Ogura and Yasushi Watanabe. From then on, he and his 3 friends took turns assaulting her.
Oh, damn, Junko.
This was not their first time doing this.
Oh, they're serial rapists. They had done
it to another girl in the past few weeks. They decided that they were...
How in the hell are these people was just randomly walking around amongst other people? Did they not feel like they can go and tell somebody? Like I'm sorry. There's no way that these 3 psychopaths can just be doing this to girls and this not catch wind and the police not hear of it. Or am I just disconnected? Please let me know. Am I just not understanding this correctly?
We're having far too much fun to just set her free again. There was also the possibility that she would call the cops and tell them what happened, and they couldn't have that. The next morning, Hiroshi took Junko to a nearby park, where Joe, Yasushi, and a 4th boy, Nobuharu Minato, were waiting. They learned Junko's address and used it to threaten her, telling her that they would kill her entire family if she tried to get away.
That's crazy. So wait, if she tried to get away, so you took her... Okay, so let's understand the timeline, because I got to sit up for this, y'all. This is crazy. I got to sit up for this. So let me understand this real quick. You first took her to a warehouse. That was already bad. And I'm sorry Junko had to go through this because this is crazy. And then you have to go, they took her to a hotel where they proceeded to 3 individuals take her without her permission. I'm doing PC here. And then to rub salt into a wound, you take her out into public to a park. And this is where a 4th individual decides to threaten her and say, if you say anything or try to escape, that we gonna harm your family? Like, where are the individuals, pedestrians that are walking by? If she has been put in a warehouse, in a hotel, she has to have physical marks. Am I just not getting it?
The 4 teenage boys then took her back to Minato's parents' home where they continued to assault her.
Parents' home?
Where, for 42 more days, she would be held prisoner.
42 days?
On the 3rd day that Junko was missing, her parents
There's some sick, end-minded individuals in this world. And this is why, as a woman, and I can't say this is just my assumption, I'm not a woman, but from a man's point of view, I could understand why women are hesitant of us. Because this is sadistic. Oh, this is beyond humane. This is beyond humane. Like, I don't, like, what?
With the police. On the 3rd day that Junko was missing, her parents were dealing with the police, trying to get her found.
Of course.
Knowing this would happen, the captors made her call her parents and tell them that she had run away and was staying with a friend, safe and sound. She was forced to ask her mom to stop the investigation. They held Junko captive in the bedroom.
I low-key really wonder if this is this clown's house. And my question to this, during these 44 fucking days, I'm sorry, I'm heated to hear this kind of shit because nobody deserves this. But during these 44 fucking days, there was no school. There was no sighting of her. I mean, of these boys in public to kind of put 2 and 2 together.
Forcing her to pose as one of the boys' girlfriend. Junko captive up the investigation.
I couldn't imagine what her mom was thinking.
They held Junko captive in the bedroom, forcing her to pose as one of the boys' girlfriend. It didn't take long for the parents to realize that this was a lie. Eventually, they dropped the whole girlfriend act altogether, as it was very clear that they weren't going to get in any trouble.
Wait, what?
Immediately after arriving at the home, the boys forced Junko into becoming their toy.
Wait, what? So the parents of this boy knew that this girl wasn't his girlfriend, and they knew what she was what they was doing to her, and they ain't do nothing about that? No. I must have not understood what homeboy just said in this. Let me listen to it.
No. Pose as one of the boys' girlfriend.
Okay, hold on. We right there.
Stop in the bedroom, forcing her to pose as one of the boys' girlfriend. It didn't take long for the parents to realize that this was a lie. Eventually, they dropped the whole girlfriend act altogether, as it was very clear that they weren't going to get in any trouble. Immediately after arriving at the home, the boys forced Junko into becoming their toy.
Becoming their toy? What they been doing before that? You had her at a warehouse. You had her at a goddamn hotel. You had her in a playground. Now you got them at your parents' house. What the fuck was she before that? If she was not being played with like some goddamn doll. I don't mean to blow up, but let me know, what else would she have been? You obviously didn't have any emotional feeling or any kind of humane mindset to be doing this, from literally taking this girl at will without her permission from point A to point B. I can't even say point A to point B. It's from point A to point D. Ooh, and we still got 20 minutes left of this shit.
Her countless times a day.
Oh my God.
Immediately after arriving at the home, the boys forced Junko into becoming their toy. They beat her relentlessly and raped her countless times a day.
Oh, shit.
They were proud of what they were doing.
Look at these motherfuckers. You got one in the bottom left that looked like he got Down syndrome and from Hill Have Eyes. He looked like his parents was nothing but incest. You look at the one in the top, bald-headed motherfucker probably got picked on this whole time when he was growing up. The one on the right looked like Honky Donkey, who over here smiling like a goddamn retard, and over here on the right looked like he played with animals and killed birds. You telling me that all four of these wasn't looked at while this girl was missing? They look crazy.
To their friends that they had a woman trapped and ready for their personal use.
Ugh.
Regularly boasting to their friends, taking turns. They were proud of what they were doing. Regularly boasting to their friends that they had a woman trapped and ready for their personal use.
So they was going around. So they was going around telling people. I still got 20 minutes left for this motherfucking flick. They went around telling people at school that they had a girl trapped and they was doing willy-nilly with her. And you telling me nobody found out?
Friends that they had a woman trapped and ready for their personal use. They invited a load of their friends to come over and have their way with her.
Oh,
In the first few
Junko!
days, at least 30 of them raped her, and at least 100 knew of her imprisonment. Even women were invited to come see the spectacle, with a young girl even being invited to come over and see the prisoner, who then took a pen and doodled on her face. By the day 7 mark, Junko had been already completely stripped of all of her humanity. She was forced to be naked at all.
This was all in 7 days? She was held for 44 days. All of that was happening in the first 7 days? The first 7 days. That's not even going through hell. Hell might have been better than that.
All times and completely stripped of all of her humanity. She was forced to be naked at all times and was constantly beaten and humiliated. They would shove her into the freezer for hours when they were bored with her, only pulling her out when they wanted to assault her again. Nobuharu Minato's brother and parents were living in the same house that she was being held in.
What?
His brother did nothing, aside from informing him.
Oh, you bitch made! You bitch made! Your brother knew about this and he ain't do shit? This shit making me a little hot. This thing making me a little mad. I don't care. There's no excuse in the motherfucking world. There is no excuse in the world to sit up in a motherfucking house knowing another human is getting dogged out and you just sit there with your motherfucking mouth closed, ain't doing nothing to actually help them. Oh!
His brother did nothing aside from informing him that Junko might die at this rate. His parents were afraid to intervene as they had seen Nobuharu's violent nature firsthand. They also knew of his association with the Yakuza.
I don't give a fuck. You couldn't have been no goddamn in no black home and doing this shit. I promise you that. You could not be in a black home and this happening under your goddamn roof. For your mama, your brother, and your daddy to be knowing that that boy got a girl in there and doing all that shit to her with your friends coming in and out that motherfucking door like it's church's chicken? No. No. What parent are you? Like, for real, what parent are you to be actually doing that? Like, that's crazy. And I don't know. I know there's sick, sadistical people in this world. And I met some sick people in this world. This is beyond sick.
Feared of their possible return. They also knew of his association with the Yakuza and feared of their possible retaliation. And most disgustingly, they worried about losing their good reputation in the community.
Their reputation?
After about 10 days of this torture, Junko's body
Junko was beautiful. Y'all can't tell me Junko wasn't a beautiful female. Junko had all this. Oh, I'm not saying it would have been deserving if she was ugly. No woman, no girl, no human should ever go through what has happened so far in these 10 days. But Junko was pretty.
Starting to
Junko was pretty.
Because of the ongoing, endless beatings.
So what's happening?
After about 10 days of this torture, Junko's body was already starting to fail her.
Well, no shit.
Because of the ongoing, endless beatings. So much blood had accumulated in her sinuses that she could no longer breathe through her nose. Her digestive system was also beginning to refuse food and water. If she attempted to eat or drink anything, she would instantly vomit. This also led to severe dehydration. Anytime she would vomit, her attackers would get angry and beat her even further. A vicious cycle that had no end in sight. When the nights got even...
You know my question? I wonder how they found out this detail. it obviously is leading towards Junko not going to succumb to the injuries. It's essentially the writing on the wall. I would not be a human who would want to survive after going through. Just no. So I hope they explain how the details of this story comes, because what I'm only assuming is that these individuals had to have gotten caught, or maybe didn't have to face jail time, and they bragged about the things that they did, or this was testimony from different individuals who was witness to all of this.
Colder, she was forced to sleep on the balcony of the home in extreme cold temperatures.
Wait,
colder,
now,
she was
hold on.
cycle that had no end in sight. When the nights got even colder, she was forced to sleep on the balcony of the home in extreme cold temperatures.
On the balcony? How did not nobody know this girl was on a family home balcony? Like, people are walking by on the street. How did you not know?
Near or below freezing. Eventually, one of the men that the attackers would invite over to the house to see Junko would go on to tell someone else about her, his brother. This brother of his ended up informing the police about what was going on
finally,
at the Minato house.
After what, 150 fucking people? Someone decided to go to the police?
2 officers were soon dispatched to go check things out. Minato's parents came to the door. When the police explained the situation, the parents simply responded that there was no girl in the house. The police took it at face value, thanked them, and left, without ever bothering to check even a single detail.
Oh my motherfucking God. I hope to hell those police officers burned. I hope they don't have children. I hope those police officers burned in hell. And those parents was hung. I mean hung. Hung the fuck up through their pinky toe. You know what? I don't even wish they was hung. That would be too humane. I wish they was tied each part of their body to 2 horses and pulled apart.
After 20 days of torture, Junko was rendered completely unable to walk. She had had lighter fluid poured on her legs and set on fire, leaving her with severe burns.
Fuck.
Her legs had also been targeted so severely during the beatings that they were left with severe muscle damage. She was unable to grip anything with her hands anymore, as they had been smashed with dumbbells to the point where her bones were crushed and her fingernails were shattered. Some nights later...
How is that? That is like some sadist shit. How in the world can you just sit there and enjoy the pain of somebody by smashing dumbbells on their finger? I stubbed my toe on the corner of my bed and I'm crying like a little girl. Oh, man.
The attackers got more rowdy than usual and ended up drinking too much. Junko took this as a chance to try to escape. She crawled down the stairs from her bedroom and reached the phone downstairs. She picked up the phone and began to call the police. The phone rang and an officer picked up. Just as she was about to speak, Hiroshi came up behind her and grabbed the phone from her hands. He put the receiver to his ear and said, "I dialed by mistake," hanging up the phone. She was then pulled back into the bedroom. She was in complete terror, as she would obviously be severely punished for this.
Yeah, they beat the shit out of her.
And she was correct. They punished her by holding her down and taunting her by waving a candle's flame all around her. Then they covered her entire body, mainly her legs, in lighter fluid and set her on fire once more.
Oh,
afterwards, she started convulsing. The boys told everyone that she was faking it and set her on fire once again, only to put it out shortly after. Somehow, she survived.
Fuck.
From this point on, she began begging her captors to just kill her and be done with it. They wouldn't...
It took her that long to be begging for death? I would have... That long to be begging for... Look, Junko was a trooper. That long to be begging for death, yo. Her legs weren't working. Her digestive system shut down. She went through countless people of penetrating her. And now, on this time, 20 days in, you begging for death? She wanted to live more than she wanted to die at that point. To go through all of that, to have hope that she was going to make it out.
Grant her that favor. After being set on fire with it, they wouldn't grant her that favor. After being set on fire, they discovered a new way to torture her. The boys would hold her head against the concrete while the others would jump on it. One can only imagine what kind of pain and damage this would have caused. After about 30 days,
Did he just say these motherfuckers was jumping on her head while her head was against concrete? And that was their new way of torturing her? This is becoming a whole nut.
Junko was no longer able to urinate properly. She had suffered severe damage to her genitals after they had been burned with cigarette lighters. She also had various foreign objects inserted into her, many sharp and jagged. Even fireworks had been inserted into her.
Fireworks?
Fireworks were not limited to only one orifice, as they were also inserted into her anus, mouth, and ears as well. She was left with eardrum damage so severe that she was nearly deaf at this point.
I'm sorry. How in the fuck are they getting this much detail? I know we're gonna find out, but for a psychopath to go step by step into the shit that they did to that girl with no remorse?
Her hands and feet were so damaged so severe mouth and ears as well. She was left with eardrum damage so severe that she was nearly deaf at this point. Her hands and feet were so damaged that she could hardly move. At best, she could crawl. It took her over an hour to crawl to the bathroom. A later report showed that her brain size was greatly reduced by this point in time.
Well, yeah, that bitch, her damn head was getting fucking jumped on like it was damn a soccer ball. Of course your brain gonna get smushed down. I'm surprised she didn't have skull fracture.
Hellish appearance, the boys no longer found her attractive. They used the same strategy again to abduct and gang rape another 19-year-old woman while she was on her way home from work.
They got another woman. They did this to countless women.
During these 44 days of hell, Junko Furuta was forced to withstand the most unspeakable torture and suffering that a person can imagine. Some of what was done to her includes being raped many times every single day, day and night, in all orifices. More than 100 men are believed to have raped her by the end. Sometimes she was raped by up to 12 different attackers in a single day. Constant humiliation. She was forced to be left naked most of the time. Many of the men who raped her also urinated on her. She was forced to pleasure herself in front of the attackers for their entertainment. She was beaten physically every day. She was beaten with...
This is crazy, yo. I don't think I've ever heard anything this This sounds like something that would have been written for a movie, not actually someone who would have went through this. Like, what would even go through someone's mind to put a human through this?
Golf clubs, iron rods, bamboo sticks, and various other objects. She had dumbbells dropped all over her body and her head stomped against the ground, face first. She had hot wax poured all over her face with a focus on her eyelids. Her eyelids were also burned with cigarettes and cigarette lighters. She was violated with a long list of various objects shoved into all orifices, including but not limited to bottles, both broken and unbroken, iron bars, scissors, roasting needles, chicken skewers, and more. She was given only the strict bare minimum of food and water. At times, she was forced to eat cockroaches and drink urine. She had fireworks put into all of her orifices, leaving damage and severe burns. She had her left nipple ripped off by a pair of pliers.
Ow!
She would be tied up flat on the floor and had dumbbells dropped all over her body. The drops on her abdomen were so hard that it caused her to lose all control of her bowels. She was hung from the ceiling and used as a punching bag. She was shoved into a freezer and kept there for hours at a time. Her eyelids were burned with hot wax and lighters when she closed her eyes in fear. Her breasts were stabbed with sewing needles, the needles often being left inside.
Oh my God!
Her genitals were burned with cigarettes and lighters. She had a hot, lit light bulb inserted into her vagina and moved around until it shattered.
Hot lit?
By the end, she looked like a completely different person.
Well, no motherfucking shit! That girl done went through World War I, World War II, and World War III. I hope to God they drug these motherfuckers through the goddamn streets.
The damage. It was hard to even make out her facial features. Her body was severely damaged and crippled, and she smelled as if she were already rotting. She was continuously heavily bleeding from her genitals from all of the abuse. She wheezed heavily, struggling to breathe from all of the blood accumulated in her sinuses. On day 40, January 1st, Junko woke up to New Year's Day alone. She spent the day begging to be killed, completely unable to move. 3 days later, on the fateful day of the 4th of January, the boys challenged Junko to a game of Mahjong Solitaire and forced her to play.
She couldn't
Somehow,
even move.
Even in her condition, she won the game. This infuriated her
they beat her
captors,
ass.
who treated her to a severe beating with an iron barbell, and then poured lighter fluid all over her arms, her legs, her stomach, and finally her face, dumping lighter fluid even into her eyes. Then they put a candle to her face, igniting it all. She weakly attempted to put out the flames, but didn't have the strength to do so. This final torture lasted for a grueling 2 hours altogether. Already having been in a horrible condition, Junko went into shock and finally died the following day.
You went through all that, girl.
Minato's brother called him within 24 hours to inform him that Junko had died. The boys all rushed over to the house in a panic, fearing what would...
What you panicking now for, though? How are you panicking now after doing that to that girl for 44 fucking days? You want to panic after she died? Oh my... Oh.
certainly be a life sentence, or even a death sentence. The boys started...
It shouldn't have been a life or death sentence at this point. They should have been shot execution style. You know what? That's too humane. They should have gone through every single last thing they did to Junko. They should have witnessed every single thing or gone through it. Every single thing they put Junko through.
To freak out. But they came up with a plan. The captors then put her body into a 55-gallon oil drum and filled it to the brim with concrete. A small bit of Junko's long hair was poking out the top of the concrete, something they apparently didn't notice. They disposed of the barrel at a construction site in Koto, Tokyo. Seeing that place now, you'd never imagine something like this was buried there. There was originally a good chance that the police would never find out who did this. There weren't any clues to go on. Luckily, Hiroshi is a moron. While he was being questioned by the police 2 weeks later involving their recent gang rape of the unrelated 19-year-old woman, he got confused and thought the police were talking about Junko, as the cases were so similar. And thinking that one of the other boys must have already confessed, he spilled the beans. He realized his mistake, but it was already too late, and he told the police where they had hid the body.
Idiot.
Joe Ogura had already been arrested for another unrelated sexual assault.
Damn half-retarded looking ass.
He was quickly also arrested for Junko's case as well. The other boys were then arrested within the next few days. Later, the drum was finally opened and the concrete was broke open, revealing Junko's long-deceased body in a nightmare-inducing, horrific condition. Junko's family was notified and told of what happened to her in detail. When her mother heard the details of what was done to her, she fainted. She ended up in a long-term stay in a psychiatric hospital.
Could you imagine hearing that shit what happened to your daughter? I don't blame her going to a psychiatric ward. Me, myself, is so disturbed that another human could do this. Oh, I'm not worthy. My head hurt.
An autopsy was performed on Junko, revealing the true horror of what had happened to her. Small bottles were found still stuck in her rectal cavity, and it was revealed that she was pregnant, although the damage to her uterus was severe. Her face was so completely mutilated that she had to be identified by her fingerprints. Being that they were...
So if she was pregnant, could they have taken the DNA from the fetus and determine who I guess back in the 1980s, they didn't have that kind of technology or capability of doing so.
Juveniles, the court withheld the names of the 4 captors. But journalists from Shukan Bunshin magazine were able to find out exactly who they were and publish the names of all of them.
Good, because you fuck them parents too, because the parents should have went to jail as well.
They were inhuman. They were and published the names of all of them, stating that they were inhuman and therefore didn't deserve human rights. Nobody really contested this. As we know, they were Hiroshi Miyano, 18 at the time, Joe Ogura, also 18 at the time, Nobuharu Minato, who was 16 at the time, and Yasushi Watanabe, who was 17. All four of these monsters were caught and sent to trial. During each trial, it was pretty common for onlookers to pass out upon hearing the details of the case. Even with all that they had done, they didn't really show any semblance of remorse.
What kind of remorse that remorse went out at day 7. No, remorse went out after day 3. You couldn't have had remorse after even doing the first things they did in the first 3 days. Because you obviously didn't look at her as a human. And the fact that you went out and did it again with another woman that was 19 off the streets? What remorse?
Despite all of this, they showed any semblance of remorse. And despite all of this, they received extremely light sentences for such horrific crimes.
What?
They were actually still being tried as juveniles, but after much backlash, they were changed to adult status. Still, after being upgraded to adult status, they received unbelievably light sentences. Something that, to this day, continues to enrage people who hear about this case.
Don't even tell me.
The boys, somehow, were not charged with murder. Instead, they received a charge called causing bodily injury resulting in death. In Japan, the juvenile court system is far more focused on rehabilitation rather than...
You can't rehabilitate those kids. Fuck no! They are a waste of breath. They are a waste of space. They should have been executed.
Punishment. Something that you'll remember if you saw my Yukio Yamaji video.
He killed his mom and was free in 3 fucking years?
Usually this means that juveniles will end up getting relatively very low sentences. Hiroshi was sentenced to 20 years in prison.
20 years? In prison? Are you fucking kidding me? People in America get sentenced to 20 years for fucking drugs. And that's so they can save their family, make a little money. But this kid got 20 years for bodily mutilation? Oh, there's a gang of freaking charges. Kidnapping, murder in the 1st degree, premeditated murder, because he planned to freaking take her. Disposing of a body. Those are the 4 major charges that's guaranteed 3 life sentences or the death penalty.
Minato got a 5 to 7 year sentence himself.
5 to 7 years?
9 years. And Joe got an 8-year sentence.
Japan is a fucking joke, yo. Japan is a joke. Collectively, that was only like 50 years for what they did to that girl. Japan is a joke. I'm curious what if that was to happen in current society, what would be their sentence now? Or what would be the outcome of this case if it was to have happened in modern day? 1988 didn't have a spine on their back.
One sad thing is that these monsters actually received even lower sentences than that at first. They were only increased to the still low amount after an appeal. It was so low that some people even questioned if their Yakuza ties were to blame for this. By the time of this recording, every single one of the 4 boys is out of jail and living free. 3 of them were in jail for less than 8 years. Hiroshi, the ringleader, was sentenced to 17 years originally. He tried to appeal, but as kind of a fuck you, the judge actually upped his case to 20 years. The same thing happened to 2 of the other boys, and after seeing enough, the 4th boy decided not to try to appeal. However, they all ended up getting out long before those sentences were actually up. And I bet you're wondering if they continued to commit crimes after they got out of jail.
Don't please, don't tell me yes.
See. After Nobuhara Minato got out of jail, he changed his first name to Shinji. He did this for obvious reasons. In 2006, he got married to a woman from Romania and had a daughter together. They soon divorced, and the wife ended up with custody of the child. Minato couldn't stay away from murder for too long.
He murdered
again? He was eventually
again?
arrested again for the attempted murder of a businessman. The man had noticed Minato staring at him, to which he asked, "What are you looking at?" Minato came over and punched the man. The man then got out of his car and a fight ensued. It escalated to the point that Minato took out a baton and beat him severely. As the victim tried to get back into his car, Minato slashed his neck with a knife he had hidden. The police were called at some point and they rushed to aid the victim. In the chaos, Minato escaped.
Is crazy.
He was soon caught and arrested. He denied attempted murder.
And let me guess, they didn't sentence anything.
The case is ongoing. Joe Ogura was released in August of 1999. He also ended up changing his name to Joe Kamisaku. He actually had the gall to brag about his role in the kidnap and torture. His father had vowed to give their entire life savings to Junko's family out of shame, but Joe ended up taking this money and using it for himself to live a fairly extravagant lifestyle. Joe's mother wasn't much better, as she actually vandalized Junko's grave, saying that it was Junko who ruined her son's life. Joe actually managed to find some women to date him.
I don't get it. I really don't get it. This is crazy. A mother protecting her bastard child who committed all of those heinous crimes, and then you decide to go deface the girl he did that to's grave and blame her for the sadistic mindset of her own fucking child. Blame yourself. Kill you and the rest of your generation.
He ended up marrying a Chinese woman, but the marriage didn't last too long. Afterwards, he started dating another woman. He went back to prison in July 2004 for 7 years for beating a guy he thought was luring his girlfriend away from him. He had kidnapped and beaten the man for 4.
So, let me get this right, Japan. I know I do business with Japan, and I've always said Japan has a very, very dark side of it. I have to tread lightly because, again, I do business with Japan. Are all Japanese this way? No. But what I'm saying is a lot of this shit, I'm not going to say it doesn't surprise me, but what I will say is that Japan's dark side is darker than we believe. And I don't understand why this darkness lives within that island, but this is tough, yo. And the fact is, you don't want to bring shame to your family, but yet you're backing someone who is clearly mentally disturbed and should not be on this planet. Do I always believe an eye for an eye? No, because there's certain circumstances. But this, all 150 individuals that partaked in Junko deserves the death penalty. No ifs, ands, or but about it. I don't care if you only did one time. I don't care if you did no time. The fact that you knew that woman was trapped in that house for all 44 days and you did nothing. You did nothing but also help in that participation. You deserve death. The girl who went there just to observe, you deserve death.
4 hours. He proudly told the victim that he had killed before and would do it again.
And now this fucker over here bragging.
He was sentenced to 4 years in prison. But in 2009, he was once again free, and he is still free to this day. The ringleader, Hiroshi Miyano, went right back into his previous gang activity immediately after being released from prison. He was arrested for fraud at some point after this, but didn't see jail time for it. Right now, it seems that he's living a fairly normal life. Some might even say a good life. He is a regular patron at a local kickboxing gym and appears to have a normal social life. As of now, Yasushi Watanabe is the only one of the 4 boys who hasn't been arrested since. Because of that, it's not really known what he's been up to. Since the investigation first started, the police have been able to get DNA from the sperm and pubic hairs found in evidence to link several more criminals to the crime, including 2 men named Koichi Ihara and Tetsuo Nakamura, both of whom were arrested, and there are probably many others who have not been revealed to the public. It is unknown if they will all face any sort of charges. Time will tell. So there it is, the worst case I've ever heard of. I get this question a lot, and it's just always this one. There are a couple of others that come kind of close, but it's really
this one
hard
takes the
to
cake,
top
yo.
something like this.
This takes the cake.
The length, the scale. I mean, just... So asking if you like this video seems a little bit fucked up. So
no.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. It helps me out. Although I doubt this video is going to really be pushed, but nah. If you like dark content like this, be sure to subscribe.
He said if you like dark content like this.
And if you'd like to support this channel,
look, I get you, my boy. I get you, my boy. I'll give you a thumbs up for it, even though you posted this bitch years ago. I'll give it to you. Oh my God, yo. I'm low-key flabbergasted, yo. You don't even want to really know what the hell I'm thinking right now, because, like, in all honesty, I'm over here like, how has someone who knows this case not gone and handled these individuals? I don't think you need to be tied to the family in order to feel like there's something that needs to happen. Let me get my, cause like I'm low key like upset. For this to even have happened in a country that I thought I love, and for that country to turn around and not punish these individuals is crazy. I don't know if they have double jeopardy law in Japan, but these individuals should have never been let out. And Rudra, answer your question even more. Yeah, Light was never wrong. If I would have known this case prior, yeah, I would have been Team Light all the way. There are some people in this world that does not need to draw a breath. And you obviously see that because they ended up back in prison. You knew these people didn't have any remorse from when you first sentenced them. So what makes you think that your reform of prison in Japan is going to freaking cure what these kids had? This is deep-rooted psychological issues. There is no prison that can fix that. The best way to fix that, excuse me, but is to take them out of the equation. I don't even care if they see me speaking into the camera and you are one of them 4 individuals. You should have gone through the same exact crap that you put that girl through. Tenfolds. I honestly believe your life should have been taken a long time ago. And I'm not a big individual into taking of lives, but there's individuals in this world who should be unalived, who should have been unalived. It should have been unalived years ago. You should have been unalived as soon as you were found guilty. You were a burden on humanity, and you were a burden on everything what's wrong with humanity. I'm so upset right now. I can't stop rubbing my knees. I can't believe. And for that story to happen in the 1980s, and we're now in 2025, and those individuals are pretty much, they're in their 50s, going into their 60s. If there's anyone that believes in humanity, you know what? I'm not going to say it, but oh man, this is a hurt one. Thank y'all for watching Junko Furuta with me, and I'll catch y'all on the next story. Oof. Love you, Ma.